Topping today's news, a 22-year-old man ambushed and shot to death early this morning. The Prime Minister sends condolences to the family of the victims of traffic fatalities over the past few days. The Prime Minister doubling down on the government's promises in the speech from the throne, and the U.S. celebrates 250 years of independence and its friendship with the Bahamas. Good evening. I'm JCN. This is your JCN Evening News, and it is a pleasure to have you joining us once again this evening. A 22-year-old man is dead and a 20-year-old woman hospitalized after they were shot around 1 a.m. today. The shooting occurred at Constitution Drive off Foster Street. Police found the dead man in the driver's seat of a silver Suzuki Swift. He had been shot several times. The woman had been shot to her upper right thigh and abdomen. Preliminary reports indicate that the deceased and the female victim had just arrived at a residence on Constitution Drive when the woman exited the vehicle and entered the residence. As she returned to that vehicle, the occupant of a white Japanese model vehicle approached and opened fire in their direction. The woman is in stable condition when we last checked at hospital. Just a few weeks ago, there was another fatal shooting on Constitution Drive. It is unclear, though, whether the two incidents are related. This marks the 37th murder on record for the year, compared to 43 for the same period last year. 6 traffic-related deaths in just over 24 hours. The latest in Abaco this morning, but we start with the deaths of those 5 young women who died in separate accidents on the weekend. A 26-year-old female died after crashing into a utility pole on Saturday night around 11 p.m. on East Sunrise Highway in Freeport, Grand Bahama. Hours later, here in the capital, 4 teenage girls died when the vehicle they were in crashed into a tree on Shirley Street and Church Street. In the House of Assembly today, Prime Minister Philip Davis, on behalf of the government and the people of the Bahamas, offered his condolences to the families of the 5 victims. 4 of them the Prime Minister knew personally, as they were members of his constituency in Cat Island.
5 young Bahamians taken from us far too soon. These were not strangers to promise. They were the very young people in whom a small nation places its largest hopes. And so I ask this House to pause, to bow its head, and to grieve alongside the families, the communities that are now in mourning.
Prime Minister Davis reminded us that these were 5 young Bahamians, 5 families broken, and 5 futures gone.
There's no speech that can fill the space these young people leave behind. There's no policy that can answer a mother, father, who has lost their child. All that this House can honestly offer today is our presence, our prayers, and our promise. The promise that we will do everything in our power to protect the young people of this nation so that your families are made to grieve as these families.
Opposition leader Michael Pintard also expressing condolences on behalf of his party. There has been no update on the survivors yet, but they include the 19-year-old male driver who sustained a broken wrist, a 21-year-old male, and a 19-year-old female, both of whom are listed in stable condition when we last checked. And there was a 25-year-old male who remains in critical condition also involved in that accident. Meantime, a 30-year-old man died on the island of Abaco this morning after his car collided with another one on Ernest Dean Highway in Spring City. Police say it happened shortly after 7 a.m. this morning. Both vehicles overturned and were extensively damaged. The man who died was driving a silver Nissan Note and was ejected from the vehicle. The male in the second vehicle, a green Nissan March, complained of chest pains and was taken to the Marsh Harbor Medical Center for medical treatment. He was seen by doctors and discharged. Preliminary investigations indicate that the driver of the green Nissan March was traveling north along Ernest Dean Highway when the driver of the Nissan Note attempted to overtake. during that maneuver to overtake an oncoming vehicle approached from the opposite direction, forcing the Nissan Note to return to the northbound lane where it collided with the green Nissan March. There are now 34 traffic deaths on record for 2026 compared to 36 for the same period last year. As the investigation continues into Sunday's deadly traffic accident, again claiming the lives of 4 young women here in New Providence and 1 on Grand Bahama, Transport Minister Leon Lundy says he is awaiting a full report from the police before commenting on the cause of these crashes.
Well, first of all, I want to give my condolences to the family. As you know, this is the tragedy of the nation. But as you are aware, the police is doing the investigations. I'm awaiting a follow report from them. So as soon as I get it, I'll be able to share it with the media. But for right now, I'm going to give a report, actually now, a communication in the House of Assembly right now.
Speaking before entering Parliament this morning, Mr. Lundy described the incident as a national tragedy. Responding to concerns about the lack of late-night transportation options for people leaving entertainment venues, the minister said there are already options available.
Our systems that do work right now, and we have public transportation options for them. There's also taxis available 24/7. At the end of the day, the ministry will do what it has to do to ensure that we provide any options, anything that makes us better as we move forward.
Mr. Lundy said the government remains open to improving transportation services if additional measures are needed to enhance public safety. And finally, in this segment, in their first sitting since passing the budget, members of the House of Assembly returned to Parliament today, where Prime Minister Philip Davis read a resolution endorsing the Governor General and the speech from the throne. We hear more on that resolution in this next report. As the government truly gets to work on its next 5-year term, today in the House of Assembly, Prime Minister Philip Davis moved a resolution that thanked the Governor General for her, quote, gracious reading, end quote, of the speech from the throne. Prime Minister Davis said the speech from the throne outlines the government's plans and policies which have been endorsed by the people of the Bahamas based on their votes in the recent general elections.
The speech from the throne, Madam Speaker, outlines our vision for the next 5 years through the lens of policy. I'm here today to talk about how those policies impact Bahamians. Because a policy is only as good as the difference it makes in the lives of people.
The Prime Minister said during the next term, his administration will aggressively tackle high food costs, affordable housing, high electricity rates, and a reduction in crime. He then extended an olive branch to the opposition to work together in the best interest of the Bahamian people, even when there is a disagreement.
These are serious times, Madam Speaker, and serious times demand serious leadership. The time for clowning and performing is over. It is time to work together for the common good. And I just want to be clear about this. We expect disagreement in this House because that is a part of the work of a parliament. While disagreement belongs in this chamber, distraction does not. That's right. And the matters before us are far too important to be cheapened by anyone who is more interested in making noise than they are in making progress. Yes. So I extend my hand across this floor to every member willing to meet this moment with the maturity it demands. Where there's common ground, let's stand on it. Where there's disagreement, let that disagreement be honest. And where there's work to be done, let's do it together.
In response, Opposition Leader Michael Pintard said, in their opinion, the speech from the throne was both underwhelming and disappointing. He also reacted to the olive branch extended by the Prime Minister to work together, even when they are opposing.
I must confess that I, like many others, found the speech from the throne underwhelming. And given the lack of enthusiasm, Madam Speaker, even in the room, no doubt filled with persons loyal to this government, it sent a message, Madam Speaker, that we expected more, we deserve more. And a part of our job as opposition, in response to comments made by the member for Cat Island, Rumkey, and San Salvador, our job is to make concrete recommendations that would improve the fortunes of our people, and we have been doing that. But it's not to be cheerleaders, as they would wish. It's not to be quiet and to shrink. Madam Speaker. And I listened just now as he talked about joining hands and doing serious work. I was amazed that he had a serious disposition as he talked about integrity and wanting, Madam Speaker, to end corruption in the country, Madam Speaker, when it comes across as if he and the team is aiding and abetting it, Madam Speaker.
We'll take a break here. We'll be right back following these commercials.
This segment of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. In relation to a recent traffic fatality on Grand Bahama, a 46-year-old man was arraigned before the magistrate's court in Freeport, Grand Bahama today, facing charges vehicular manslaughter. The charge stems from a hit-and-run traffic fatality that occurred on Tuesday, the 23rd of June on Royal Palm Way, involving an Indian national that was hit by a black SUV that was driving on the wrong side of the road and struck that victim as he was jogging. That was around 9 p.m. that evening. It marked the 28th traffic death for the year. The United States is celebrating 250 years of independence, and on Friday they invited special guests to the new U.S. Embassy Nassau, and that was on Shirley Street, for a celebration of strong ties between the United States and the Bahamas. Alex Reckley was there, and she files this report.
Tonight, the U.S. Embassy Nassau celebrates its 250th independence celebration here on the new grounds of the U.S. Embassy since opening up September 2025 here in the Bahamas.
The United States Embassy in Nassau celebrated the 250th anniversary of the United States with a 4th of July reception on June 26, marking the first Independence Day celebration at the embassy's new Shirley Street location, hosted by U.S. Ambassador Herschel Walker, the 14th U.S. Ambassador to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and the first to serve in the country in more than 14 years. The formal program featured remarks by the U.S. Ambassador, Prime Minister Philip Davis, and Governor General Dean Cynthia Pratt. At the start of the event, U.S. Ambassador spoke to reporters and called the Bahamas family and emphasized his desire to build on this relationship.
I think it's a great relationship. First of all, I told him when I first got here, it's not like we're different countries. I see the Bahamas as being just like a part of America. And the reason I say that, we're so close, proximity is so close. And I was talking to a young lady the other day, and I didn't believe her, but she said that when she lived in Miami, she used to go over to the Bahamas, and her mom never knew it. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And so I see the Bahamas as being family. We're so close, and that's the reason I said that we got to build on this relationship. We got to build on this partnership. And having an ambassador after 14 years, I think we can get that done.
The reception brought together government officials, members of the diplomatic corps, and invited guests to celebrate the long-standing partnership between the Bahamas and the United States. And the Prime Minister highlighted his appreciation for the U.S., reminiscing on times the U.S. showed up without ask, calling the country a real friend to the Bahamas.
Today, the United States is our largest partner and our closest friend. Many in this room out here this evening remember Hurricane Dorian. It struck Abaco and the Grand Bahama, and it would not leave. The wind howled for days. The water rose into the rooftops. For our people, it was their own long night of fire. Homes were gone, families scattered, and in the darkest hour, many wondered whether the dawn would ever come. And when it came, America was already there. United States Coast Guard helicopters flew into the wreckage. American hands reached down and lifted our people from the water. American hearts broke open for us, and American help poured in. You did not wait to be asked. You came because that is what neighbors do. That is what friends do.
Ambassador Walker shared what the United States and the Bahamas has accomplished together and honored his country for its bravery throughout history.
Because of the bravery of America, they put a man on the moon. And I hear they're looking for Mars. And because of the partnership between the United States and the Bahamas, they put the first Bahamian in space.
Guests celebrated under the theme American Icons, interacting with stunning Junkanoo recreations of iconic American monuments. A formation flyover in New Providence from U.S. Marine Corps out of North Carolina took place, and a fireworks show ending the night. The event was indeed a symbolic presentation of the strength of the United States and the Bahamas relationship. I'm Alexandra Reckley, JCN News.
Thanks for that report, Alex. And finally, it's always a crowd pleaser and marks the start of the independence celebration for us here in the Bahamas. The annual Beat Retreat took place Sunday in Rawson Square, downtown Nassau, and it brought Bahamians and tourists out in large numbers. One of the people there was Beverly Wallace Whitfield, who says she takes great pride in being a Bahamian, but believes the country can achieve even more if our people commit to honesty, hard work, personal responsibility, and integrity. Next up on the Independence calendar of events, Wednesday, July 1st is National Flag Day, where you are asked to wear your Bahamian colors. Well, that'll do it for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Jorino Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.